And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific time, 11 p.m. Eastern time, here to talk about all things in terms of professional wrestling, So just kind of reiterate and reflect on what we talked about real quick on today's show. We had our WWE Monday Night Raw review. Then we talked about NXT preview. It's happening right now. Cannot wait to watch it. We also talked about TNA wrestlers that have stopped in TNA to kind of bounce back a little bit, kind of catch their catch their tune a little bit and be like, you know what, let's just work in TNA for a little bit. And also we talked about some young stars that debuted in TNA, maybe didn't really work as but it ultimately got their foot in the door, to kind of get to know people in terms of the wrestling industry. Then people start talking. Then you impress some people during matches. Even matches, sometimes you lose, and they're like, you know what, this guy can do wonders in terms of our promotion and stuff like that. Then we talked about Zila Fatu being scouted by WWE. So, definitely the Bloodline's going to have another member debut. Still some time. Rikishi still feels like he still needs at least a year to kind of get more experience under his belt, before making it to WWE. So now we're going to talk about our fifth segment. We're going to talk about Tuesdays today in wrestling history. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's talk about it. All right. First and foremost, let's before we get into the end of this, I want to we have a couple of notable wrestling birthdays. We have Rip Morgan, Tori, Duke of the Dumpster, Dreos, Mickey Nichols, and we also had we have Walter as well. I think that when they mean Walter, do they mean Gunther? I think he had a birthday already, but no, I could be tripping. Could be tripping 1,010%. So yeah, happy birthday if you guys are watching this show. That'd be pretty cool if you were. But yeah, let's go ahead and dig on into it. The IWA Japan presented the Kawasaki Dream event in Kawasaki, Japan. The match featured the infamous King of the Death match tournament that the final saw Cactus Jack defeat Terry Funk in no ropes, exploding barbed wire, exploding ring time bomb match. That's insane. All the punishment that Mick Foley has put his body through for the sake of entertaining wrestling fans. Man, has anybody ever doubted this guy's determination and his commitment to professional wrestling? This man did anything and everything to kind of put his name out there on the map, help the promotion like ECW, like I said, the WWF, and it's just so crazy. And you can tell that by Mick. Mick, he's a good guy. He's a good guy, 1,010%. When he became the manager of Monday Night Raw, I don't know. It just seemed like he just enjoys being out there. He's a professional wrestler through and through. Mick Foley, what was the saying that they always do? Something Foley's baby boy, I think he's from Rhode Island. Yeah, Rhode Island. So I loved Cactus Jack when he made his way back to the WWE, during that, I think it was 2001, 2000. And he took out Triple H, but obviously didn't win the championship, which kind of sucked. I wanted to see Cactus win. He had a street fight at the Royal Rumble. Then he also had that Hell in a Cell match at No Way Out. But it was great. It was all Mick Foley, 1,010%, all Mick Foley. So yeah, we got my man Mick Foley and Terry Funk. And of course, in 2001, Monday Night Raw played host to Stone Cold Steve Austin Appreciation Night as the Alliance paid tribute to their leader, Stone Cold Steve Austin. The party was ruined when Kurt Angle drove up with the milk truck to ringside and doused the entire group with milk juice. Oh, it was so great. Oh, it was so. I remember watching this. This was amazing because everybody. I think Kurt Angle was kind of mocking Stone Cold Steve Austin because Stone Cold Steve Austin came out with the beer truck and doused the corporate with Vince and Shane and just with beer with The Rock, and it was cool. It was funny as hell. Then you have Kurt Angle, the Olympic gold medalist, was always make sure you drink your milk. The 3 I's: intensity, integrity, and intelligence is definitely something everybody should have. I think this is goody two shoes kind of guy comes out, and instead of beer, he mocks Stone Cold Steve Austin with milk. and I thought that was pretty cool. Definitely loved the promo. It definitely got the world of wrestling talking, got Kurt Angle's name out there, and it was, funny as hell, 1,010%. Like it's cool. It's cool now. Definitely one of the things I remember as a, growing up as a wrestling fan. I remember 2001. I was like 9. Yeah, I was 9 years old, and I was like, dude, this is fun. This is cool. I mean, I think I was watching it with my family. It was pretty, it was pretty cool. Definitely some of those nostalgic wrestling feelings that it's kind of cool to reflect on back then. So I definitely love Kurt Angle. Definitely love that spot. So yeah, in 2006, another time where kind of my height of being a professional wrestling fan was once when you saw D-Generation X kind of come back together a little bit. And then, we saw in 2006 WWE SummerSlam that took place at the TD Back North Garden Arena in Boston, Massachusetts. In the main event, Edge retained his WWE Championship over John Cena. Several one-of-a-kind matches took place at this event, such as Hulk Hogan against Randy Orton, Big Show against Sabu, Ric Flair taking on Mick Foley, and also Triple H and Shawn Michaels taking on Vince and Shane McMahon. So, definitely some of the heights. And, you have Rey Mysterio, you see Batista back there. And it was just awesome. Kurt Angle, of course, Triple H and Shawn Michaels on my Mount Rushmore of the best professional wrestling. Obviously, back there you see Trish Stratus, Tori Wilson. I remember when, the Divas were kicking ass still back in that day. Obviously, it wasn't like it was, obviously now. But I don't know. You saw a lot of great matches between Trish and Lita, Victoria. You kind of had that first, kind of women's revolution where you had Fit Finley training them backstage and kind of training them to have actual wrestling matches. And the girls were getting great attention. But at the time, WWE was kind of like, hey, like, why are they, doing submissions and top rope moves and stuff? Like, I don't know, kind of crazy. But that's, I guess that's how the time it was. Kind of crazy. But definitely love this pay per view. Definitely one of my favorites. So yeah. All right. In 2010, we had, in 2016, sorry, we had NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 2, takes place at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. This event headlined by a trio of sensational matches that showcased the very best of NXT talent. In the main event, we saw Shinsuke Nakamura defeat Samoa Joe to become the first ever two-time NXT champion. Asuka successfully defended her NXT Women's title against Bayley, and the Revival defended their tag team titles against the win over DIY. It's kind of crazy how DIY has been around since 2016. That's crazy. It's a little trippy. Damn, almost 10 years. Yeesh. And they just won their first titles at SmackDown and then got them taken away and they lost to the Bloodline. Oh, so sad. So it kind of sucks. I didn't think that DIY should have lost championships. I honestly did not think that should have happened. Obviously, you can, tell my emotions about it. I almost cried right now. I'm just kidding, but Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura is another example of making it to the main roster with WWE creative, not really know what the hell to do with Shinsuke Nakamura. And he had him turn heel. Obviously, he did win the Royal Rumble to take on AJ Styles at WrestleMania. Then he low blowed him, and then he turned into this jerk, just jerk. And it was bad for Shinsuke for a little while, but I feel like I feel like WWE kind of owe him a little bit more. You definitely didn't expect once when you were going to get promoted to the main roster that you would kind of have to bite and scratch and kind of claw your way like Shinsuke Nakamura has. But I miss seeing him in matches like matches that that kind of matter. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that not all matches don't matter, but I don't know, just main event matches. Like I don't know, he was just so great when he was hot and the fans loved him. Oh my god, this guy was just he was like nitro in a bottle. Like it was crazy, and I don't know, it's kind of a shame, but I don't know. And the revival as well. Kind of missed the revival on WWE, but FTR on AEW is, I think they're doing pretty, they're doing decent. Samoa Joe on, to AEW kind of seemed like the right place for both of those guys. And Asuka, man, Asuka. Definitely miss Asuka. 1,010%. When she makes her way back to WWE, I I don't know. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be 1,010%. She's gonna come back, leader of Damage Control. That would be pretty cool. You have a babyface stable women's group. And I think they could very much become a two-time NXT World Women's Tag Team Champions. But I don't know. I'm not buying this collective fusion thing with Sonya Deville, Zoe Stark, and Shayna Baszler. At first, I was excited for this newly formed women's faction. I was, but it seems like it's, not really getting the attention from the fans. If you're gonna, I ultimately thought this was more or less just for Shayna and also, Zoe kind of getting more out of what, their careers in terms of WWE, because I feel like they are definitely underrated and I feel like they're great inside the ring talent. But you see Sonya Deville kind of insert herself into, kind of into the matches and stuff like that. And like, they're coming out as the total heels, and it seems like they're killing it. It seems like they're doing exactly what, the spots, the bookings, they're getting fans to hate them. Maybe that's the reason why I'm a little biased here. But I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. I feel like it could be better. I feel like the women's division on Raw should, kind of watch a little bit about what NXT is doing in the women's division because they are killing it. They are killing it. All right, and finally, we have a 2017 WWE SummerSlam goes down at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. In the night's main event, you saw Brock Lesnar defeat Samoa Joe, Braun Strowman, and Roman Reigns in a fatal four-way match to retain his WWE Universal Championship, which was heartbreaking. I hated every second of it. I was like, great, we have more Brock Lesnar coming up. I was kind of rooting for Braun Strowman. I was rooting for Braun Strowman. And then I liked Roman, despite the fact that fans hated him because he was forced down the WWE Universe's throat. Samoa Joe, I thought, he was great as well, watching him on TNA and stuff like that. And when he made it to NXT, and then he made it to the main roster, and I don't know, it was all in all, it was a great match. Fatal four ways are, oh, it's crazy. Just ask Trick Williams how he lost his NXT World Championship. Like it's not easy. It could be a pain in the butt. But Brock Lesnar did it. He retained his WWE Universal Championship at SummerSlam at Barclays. So definitely think that, remember watching that. It was, I wasn't really that, it was cool because it was wrestling. It was a decent match. But I don't know, everything hits a little different here. We're wrestling fans, guys. We're wrestling fans. All right, guys. So that's it for me today. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Leave a positive review here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity 1,010% of the time. Also follow us on Twitter /X, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook for more content and updates. And like I always say, if I have not made you a wrestling fan by now, here at the GSMC Sports Network, we have a lot of awesome podcasters that, definitely keep you on the edge of your seat, keep you entertained as hell, because their voices are powerful, their passion is on fire. And so, yeah, make sure you give it a listen. We got my boy Nelson on the GSMC Basketball Podcast. We have the Andrew Tate Show, kind of entertainment, sports, kind of makes it get the best of both worlds. We also have Sports with Jeremy. We also have the GSMC the GSMC Sports Podcast with the TJ, and with football right around the corner. Oh my God, I can't believe college football starts on Saturday. That's crazy. Make sure you tune into Tommy's podcast, the GSMC College Football Podcast. We have Emran's podcast, the GSMC Soccer Podcast, starting in 10 minutes, so do not go anywhere. We also have my boy Chris Shepard on the GSMC Fantasy Sports Podcast. Find out who you're going to draft in your draft. Find out your stardoms, your situms during the NFL season. And, speaking of the NFL, we have two NFL podcasts, football podcasts. We got the Chip Shop Football Podcast with my man, Manny. Then we got Kenneth's GSMC Football Podcast, which is, badass as well. So make sure you check those out. Super cool, super awesome dudes. We're all, definitely passionate about sports. Definitely love talking to you guys. Love it when the fans interact. So 1,010% on behalf of the GSMC Sports Network. Definitely love you guys. So, make sure you tune into the shows. All right. So that's it for me. Have an amazing Tuesday night. Hope you guys enjoyed NXT. I can't wait to watch it right now. You guys are beautiful, but most importantly, love you.